So Redfin just put out a report saying the housing market is starting to recover. If you remember the end of 2022, it was kind of sleepy. The median price was going down a little bit here in San Diego. They're saying it's starting to recover. We have 5 points we're going to go through in the report and tie it back to San Diego. The report's not San Diego specific, but since we're boots on the ground, we're in the market every single day, we are going to give you some insight into what we're seeing out there. So here's the report from Redfin. You guys could go read it as well. Just go to redfin.com, look up this article here. You can see the first point that they're making is that homebuyers return as power dynamics shift towards their favor. One of the main things that they are mentioning here is interest rates. Off the peak, what we had back in 2022, this is when interest rates started going crazy all the way up to almost 7.5%, 7.37% peaking out. Now, in the last few months, we've seen it kind of moderate into the 6%, almost touching exactly 6%, got down to 6.04% just a few weeks ago. So they're saying motivating a lot of buyers to get back off the sidelines, because a lot of people did kind of shut down buyer-wise as the interest rates got up. Either it got too expensive, they couldn't afford the payments, or just weren't comfortable with the payments. So as these interest rates play a huge role in what's happening, we're going to see if they do continue to kind of stay around here. We should see some decent demand going forward. If they crank back up, what are we going to see, Lauren, if they go insanely high again?
It's probably going to slow the market again like it did.
Yeah.
Either we've had the fastest buyer's market in history and we're moving back into a seller's market, or better. I think this next year is going to be more of a stabilization year, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because how we had pent up buyer demand during different times. I still think there's some pent up seller demand of folks that wanted to sell around the pandemic, pulled back and kind of waited things out. And then, it wasn't optimum for a normal buyer sell person to buy and sell in the past year or so, because it was very difficult to time all that stuff. So could be some just normal buyers or normal sellers that want to leaving state, changing out of real estate, moving down to a smaller that come on the market. But we'll see, because there's a whole group of folks that believe that there's sellers or homeowners that are locked into low interest rates that aren't going to move easily at this point. It still remains to be seen is the best thing to say about that.
Part of the reason they're saying buyer demand is back, and since November, there was a 28% rise in mortgage applications, but it was also really super low because there wasn't a ton of mortgage applications going on when it was 7.5%. And there was not any mortgage applications, but refis, any of that kind of stuff was super down. So that number is higher than November, but that's just and just beginning of the year too. People getting ready, like having that plan. Well, let's buy a house this year, so let's start that process. But you can see it kind of correlates with the huge jump in interest rates going down to the mortgage purchase applications going up.
I think too, with the interest rates, it becomes a new normal over time that, it's shocking to go from 3 to 6. But when it sits at 4.5 to 5.5 for a period of time, which maybe it'll do this year, then it just becomes, that's what it is.
The second point they're making in there is bidding wars are back in some markets. And they're saying that the homes that are eliciting bidding wars tend to be affordable, suburban, single family, move-in ready, and most importantly, price competitively. This goes to show you, like we preach on this channel, pricing and preparation are super important. If you want top dollar for your home and you want to sell it quickly, that is one of the best ways to do it kind of in any market. But just to bring it back to our San Diego market, I have seen a few. We've been in a few positions where we have made offers on properties. One was downtown San Diego. They had 6 offers. The thing was, it was priced competitively. It was priced a decent amount under what the market value was when we ran the comps for that neighborhood to see what else had sold around there. It was fairly low. So that is what drew those 6 offers. There's also been other places that we've seen offer come in, maybe you can't get into terms with the seller, then maybe a few weeks later, another offer. So some properties, some houses, some markets, and some prices are getting offers, definitely offers, but not kind of that crazy bidding war that we did see in 2022 when you're getting like 15, 20, 25 even offers going well above list.
What I would say too about that is if we don't see more inventory come on in the next month or so, I think you'll see a level of bidding war potentially move up. But there's so much going on in the economy and so much with the Fed that there's still a lot of uncertainty built within the market. So it could, things could change pretty dynamic market still, I would say. It would be nice to not have as a dynamic market as we've had the past couple of years. A little more evening out.
The third point they're making in this report is the market for condos and expensive homes lag behind. In San Diego, I think it's kind of a different market because the price points from the coast to inland, condos to expensive to not, what people deem affordable. Every market is different and every city is different. So just as one example, here's the condo market in 92078 section of San Marcos. You can see kind of mid-July, we did see a moderation where it just kind of flattened out. The median price of homes flattened out quite a bit. Whereas compared to Carlsbad 92009, like the cost area, same time frame where you had July, it kind of, flattened out a little bit, but now we've seen it kind of start to rise again. So
the townhome and market in certain, it's very, even within Carlsbad, you pointed out one of the zip codes within Carlsbad, it can be different. So that part of the market, you got to look at specifically where your home is. I know the upper end market in San Diego this past year had a pretty solid year overall. 10 million plus sales. Were at 38 of those last year in 2022, which is a little lower than I think they had 41 or so in the year before. So the super high price stuff overall fairly flat to down a little bit. But from what we hear, there's not enough good listings in certain brackets, upper end being one of them, that sometimes there's not enough really good quality inventory. So it's a very good time to sell right now.
Next point is sellers have been slower to return than buyers, meaning they are still kind of on the sidelines, on the fences, whereas the beginning part of the year, it seems like just even in our own business, a lot of our clients have reached out, start that conversation back up that they did put off their search kind of mid last year. Let's get back into it. And part of that, I think, is the interest rates. But like Laura's mentioned, what you were saying about what you think, go on again about the kind of what you think sellers might be doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, sellers have so far this year, we haven't seen too many sellers come back into the market. Not enough, I would say. So when I watch my local zip codes daily, there's as many new listings as there are pendings, almost pretty close right now again. And that's an indicator that you're not gaining in the inventory. So definitely a good time if you're thinking about selling to sit down and talk through it and make sure you're, certain areas, it still is experiencing the market differently.
Redfin is kind of saying that too. Likely you'll see more sellers return to the market as home buyer demand increases and price growth stabilizes. So usually a typical market right here in San Diego, we do see properties get listed more often kind of going into that spring market. So March, April, hopefully that inventory levels creep up and can keep up with buyer demand. Like Lauren mentioned, we are seeing more closed sales and pending sales. So you combine those and take away from what is active. And if there's more of these and less that are on the market or coming onto the market, then that's going to bring the number of homes total. So the inventory that we talk about so much, bring that down, which in turn, if the buyer demand keeps up, there's a lot of buyers out there. In turn, it's going to drive prices up if we do stay on that course. And the last point that will pop up here is kind of what we mentioned a few times. The recovery will be touch and go and vary from block to block, meaning, as always, real estate is super local. Back in the hectic frenzy market when everything was flying off the market, anything even, on a main road or that needed a bit of TLC or a lot of TLC was selling. Where we might not see that anymore. Maybe those are the homes that sit a little longer to hopefully build up that inventory a little bit, but it really does vary from neighborhood to neighborhood. So if you guys do need some information on your neck of the woods and you want to know what's exactly going on, hit us up. We are real estate agents with the Beach Life Group right here in North County, San Diego. So we got your back. We're making the move here in North County.